It's my pleasure once again to welcome the gorgeous Priyanka Chopra and for the first time, Jonas, I get to say. Priyanka Chopra Jonas to Showbiz India. It's great to see you.
Thank you so much, Reshma. It's good to see you again.
And tell me, of course, this movie is a very, very special movie for many reasons. It's a true story. It's also a friend of mine who directed it, and you're in it. And I've been seeing the trailers. It's such a heart-wrenching movie. When you first heard the story, what were your thoughts?
What I loved about this movie, as soon as I read it, was that it's a true life story, but it's like, yes, it's a heavy subject. You'd think that when you think about the fact that there's a teenager who didn't live her full optimum life, but the way the movie is told is so humorous and such a joyous take on life that when you watch the movie, you're so conflicted about when you laugh, you cry, you feel so much because this family is so inspiring to me because, you know, in spite and despite of the troubles in their lives, they just stayed together, they laughed together, they created together, they created joy together. And I feel like in this crazy, cynical world where we're all like so individualistic, it's important to remember that life is a gift.
And you decided to produce this movie as well.
Yes.
Tell me the reason.
I thought this movie was so special that I wanted to be able to put all my might behind it and, you know, give it as much of a flight as I can. And that's all you can do. After that, it's, you know, every film has its own destiny. But I called up Sid and Ronnie, who I've done a lot of movies with, and I told them that I've never done a Hindi film before as a producer. I've done a lot of regional films, but I wanted this one to be my first one. And if they would have me, and they were like, of course. And I learned so much from working with them in this movie.
So how was that different?
There was a lot of inclusion in all the decisions around the movie, where we should market, how we should market, where should the film go, and I was involved in a lot of that. So that's a very different way than being an actor. It's like an added responsibility for sure.
So what's your favorite part of this movie?
My favorite part of the movie is when you come to the end credits of the film. Like after you have seen the entire journey and you come to the end credits of the film and you see the real life footage of the real life Aisha and Aditi and Nireen and Ishan, and then you replay the movie back and you're like, oh my God, all this happened to this real family. Like it stays with you for a while, and every time I watch the movie, even if I'm in it, like it affects me because I think about the fact that all the scenes have been told to us by Aditi and Nireen themselves. So there's nothing where we've dramatized in this movie. So like it always gets me every time.
Oh, sounds very, very beautiful. On a lighter note, I'm sure life has changed for you. You had a beautiful fairy tale wedding. How has life changed for you?
It hasn't really changed much if you look at it. The only thing I think it's changed is I've become a lot calmer in life. I don't get stressed as much. I can deal with life smiling. I think Nick is a very calm energy, and having that in my life, that's the only thing that's really changed. But besides that, I'm still like traveling the way I do. I'm still working the way I do.
I see that. Tell me about NBA in India.
I love cross-pollination. Like I love bringing things from America to India. I love taking India to America. I feel like because I've got this incredible opportunity to be able to magnify things in both countries, I want to be able to use that. So partnering with the NBA was another example of that. I know that, you know, in a country which has a paucity of space, basketball is a game that does not need a stadium, you know, and it's something that kids can do together. There's a lot of basketball fans in India, and I just feel like sport creates a community, it creates teamwork. So bringing it back to India was something I was very, very excited about. Also Bumble, that was yes. Another reason, and I see so many people, so many women and guys that are on Bumble now in India and are like loving it. So, and even like taking a movie like Sky is Pink into mainstream, you know, America, and promoting it on like mainstream shows. That's what I want to do. I feel like I'm at that place in my life now where I want to magnify things from different countries and cross-pollinate, in a way that I don't think anyone has been able to.
No, it's absolutely, you're a trendsetter in many ways. So what about next for you in terms of your acting career? What can we look forward to?
Well, I just finished a movie with Robert Rodriguez. It's called We Are Heroes. It's a kids superhero movie, which I'm very excited about, for Netflix. And then I'm doing the English adaptation of The White Tiger, which is a prize-winning book with Ramin Bareen, who's the director. I start shooting that now after I finish this whole promotion. And I'm also developing a romantic comedy with Mindy Kaling, which is for Universal Pictures, which has just gone into writing, so that'll take a little while. And I'm also writing a book. There's lots going on.
So when does Priyanka Chopra rest?
I rest at night. I'm very productive. I love doing many, many things at the same time.
This is a few years ago. I watched you speak about the girl child, and you told a beautiful story about how your mother adopted this little girl and how she inspired you. I would love for you to reiterate that story.
My mom, taught me how important it was. Philanthropy was a very big part of our lives. And ever since we were young kids, my mom, my dad, both of them as medical practitioners, they used to always have 2 beds in the hospital, which would always be free treatment, no questions asked. We would always go into these villages and give treatment. So when I turned 18 or 19, my mom and I started our own foundation, which is called the Priyanka Chopra Foundation for Health and Education. And through that, we've financially adopted a lot of kids and their education. It's self-funded at the moment, which is why it's not something that I talk about, but we have taken almost 88 kids into getting the kind of education that they would want, whether it's school, whether it's college, almost like a scholarship. So that's where the adoption thing came from, but it was financially adopted.
Right. Well, it's so nice to see the philanthropic side of you, because as a celebrity, I know everything you say, you get scrutinized, and sometimes you have trolls. How do you deal with that at that point?
Well, I have always believed that I think the media gives trolls a lot more importance than we do. I don't think that many, just a few people who have negative comments or a lot of free time on their hands, and without knowing the full story, just like to take people on to get 5 minutes of fame. I feel that's you guys give them a lot more importance by making it headlines. Someone's opinion is not news.
Well, not me.
No, not you. I'm just saying your calm.
Yeah, okay, my calm. That's the Indian in her.
But I guess it's not something that I sit and discuss at home. I prefer to focus on the amount of love and positivity that I get on social, which is so much of it. I've always had so much support in my fans and the people that have supported all my crazy lateral decisions, and that I'm a focus on the positive kind of girl.
This is going to be your first Diwali. Diwali is around the corner, and for those who don't know, of course, it's a very, very big deal for Indians when their first Diwali as a married couple. Do you have any special plans, or are you going to be working?
No, I'm going to be with my husband for Diwali and for Karwa Chauth this year, because it's a first for me, and it's a really big deal for me, my family, and also Nick, because he understands how much of a big deal it is for me. So I have a new sari, I have my clothes ready. It'll be fun.
So you're going to do the fasting for Karwa Chauth?
I've done it since I was 16.
Wow.
Punjabis, we do it single girls do it on a tara. I mean, I just find it really fascinating. I don't know. Yes, people say it's such a regressive thing, but I just think it's so romantic.
And intermittent fasting is good for you.
I know. IF. It's on trend.
Yes, exactly. Well, great to see you, Priyanka, and we wish you continued success.
Thank you so much, Reshma.